Okay, sit yourself onto your left and come into a good cross-legged position. And just have a little wriggle about, make sure that you're sitting evenly. So just have a little wriggle about, make sure that you feel securely placed on the seat bones. Just be mindful of the placement of your feet. Just focusing on the outside edge of the foot, the kind of blade of the outside edge of the foot. Bring your hands into your knees, push against the knees so that you can elevate your heart area upwards, drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. Just breathe in through the nose, out through the nose. Just observe the level of your current energy. Just breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, just spending a little time listening to the breath. Release your knees, bring your hands into Namaste. Push the palms firmly together, lengthen from your armpits into your elbows. And then with an exhalation, allow your eyes to gently close. Just focus on filling the lungs from the bottom to the top and emptying them from the top to the bottom. Observe how the in-breath has a different sound and sensation to the out-breath at the nostrils and at the throat. Soften the jaw and the tongue and your throat. Just allow your ears to attune to the sound of the breath. Observe the opening and lifting of the inhalation chest and the relaxation of the exhalation chest. And then gently draw your chin down to meet your chest. Just spend a moment to seek to generate a genuine, heartfelt sense of gratitude for something or someone or somewhere. release the backs of your hands down to the knees, palms facing upwards. Connect the tip of the index finger with the tip of the thumb, just a gesture of wisdom and physical intelligence and peacefulness that we can carry into our practice. Just hold on to that feeling of abundance from your moment of gratitude. And then raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. So hold on to your knees, lift up into the chest, elevating the heart area upwards, drawing your shoulders down. Take a deep inhalation in through the nose. And then with an exhalation, turn to the right side, drawing your abdomen across, your ribs and your shoulders across. And then come back to the center. Hold on to your knees, lift up into the chest. Take a deep inhalation, and then with the following exhalation, turn to the left. And then gently come back to the center. Just come off your lift and then sit down onto your heels and stretch forwards into advisable. So the big toes are together, your knees are apart, and just establish yourself, establish the shins on the ground to start off with, and then come forwards into advisable. Draw the tailbone down towards the heels. Lengthen from your hips into your armpits, into your palms, into the fingertips, into the fingernails. Allow there to be some gentle pressure on the area between the eyebrows, just to quieten the brain. Come up onto your knees, turn your toes under, and then come up into dog down. Turn the fronts of your thighs inwards. Lift the seat bones towards the ceiling. Lift the tailbone towards the ceiling. Just breathe deep, gentle inhalations, but full inhalations, full exhalations. Step your feet forwards, come up into a standing position, and then have some blocks for underneath your hands. Bring your feet as wide apart as your mat, turning your toes inwards. Lift up into the chest, elevate the heart area up to the ceiling, squeeze your elbows together. Keep the legs nice and straight. Feel that your heels are almost consciously hitting outwards, that the toes are consciously turning inwards. That action echoes into the legs. You turn the shins inwards. Turn the inner knees towards the back of the room. Turn the fronts of the thighs inwards. So that you create this broadness across the hips. So you turn the legs inwards at the front and they broaden outwards at the back, leading all the way into the glutes, all the way up into the hips to give you space in the hips. Lift up into the heart area, keep your head lifted and hinge at the hips, come forwards with a straight back. And then reach down, find the blocks. And then make sure that the blocks are directly underneath your shoulders. Keep those legs activated in the way that you just prepared. Feel that there is an evenness of action from the inside. Project the chin and the chest forwards. Hit your heels back so that your weight, or hit your shins back so that your weight goes into your heels. Stretch your toes away from your heels, lift the seat bones, project the chin and the chest forwards. And then if you can come down lower, then do stay at a higher lift if you've got a back problem. Just observe your action. Observe the evenness or otherwise of action. Projecting the chin and the chest forwards. So if you can reach the floor, then come down. But stay at the lift where you can keep the legs straight, where you can keep tightening the kneecaps, so you can press the fronts of the knees through to the backs of the knees. You can keep the backs of the thighs lifting up towards the seat bones. And then bring your hands into your hips, bend your knees on the way up if you need to, and then come up into a standing position. And then come into Tadasana, so the inner edge of your feet are together. And then come up into Tadasana. So feel that the legs are still rotating inwards. The fronts of the legs rotating inwards, the backs of the legs rotating outwards. It's like a corkscrew kind of action. So the front of the leg turns in, the back of the leg rotates out, and then you're kind of going round in this corkscrew all the way down the legs. Lift up into the chest, elevate the heart area upwards. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Focusing on long, slow, deep, deliberate inhalations and exhalations. And then stretch your arms forwards, interlock the fingers. Try not to disturb the legs. Turn the palms all the way out and then raise your arms over your head. Squeeze the outer elbows in, stay with the breath, stay with the corkscrew action of the legs. Just observe that can make you drop in the insteps, that corkscrew action, so then push the inner knees away from each other, but keep the corkscrew of the legs. the inner knees away from each other and lift the inner knees up towards the groin. Release your arms, swap the interlock of the fingers, turn your palms all the way out, and then again raise your arms over your head. So just looking forwards. Just look at something that doesn't move. Just keep your eyes still in the sockets. Keeping the legs activated in that corkscrew action. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. And then gently release, come back into Tadasana. Just feel the energy in the arms and in the palms. Bring your arms out nice and wide in towards your chest, and then step or jump the feet apart. Turn your left toes in, your right leg and foot all the way out, and then again face in the front with the chest. Stretch out your arms and then come down into trikonasana. So keep the corkscrew of the legs, but in this pose, the corkscrew action goes the other way, from the inside of the thigh to the outside, around the back of the leg, all the way down. So it's not just the front leg, do the same with the back leg, so you're turning the front of the leg outwards rather than inwards. So obviously that makes the back of the leg turn the opposite direction. So feel that you can really engage with that corkscrew action of the legs. So that corkscrew action of the legs helps you to bring that front leg hip bone inwards. Helps the hips to come into alignment. Come back to the center. Swap the feet around. And again, corkscrew. So the corkscrew from the inner groin to the outer thigh, around the back of the leg. And then just that corkscrew action all the way down to the foot. Bring the chest to face the front. Do the same with the back leg. So broadening outwards. Corkscrew action all the way down to the foot. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Using that corkscrew action on the legs. And then come back to the centre, bring the feet parallel, and step or jump your feet back together. Good, and then come back into Tadasana. To get a couple of blocks for parivrtta, you might not need them, but it's always useful to have them there. It's useful to go to them just to start off with. So just be in Tadasana. Again, this corkscrew action, it's in the opposite direction to trikonasana and things like parivrtta too, where the legs are turning outwards. But if you turn the legs outwards here, then it makes you kind of lift the insteps, but it makes you kind of open the hips in the wrong kind of way. So in Tadasana, the legs turn inwards, but the backs of the legs turn outwards. So there's still that corkscrew action all the way down to the feet. So in, turn in on the front legs, turn out on the back legs. Tuck the tailbone in. Bring your arms nice and wide into the chest, and then step or jump the feet nice and wide, and then turn your left toes in steeply and the right leg and foot all the way out. Pick up that back heel and turn it all the way out. And then lift up into the chest. Now corkscrew those legs in Tadasana action. Turning the fronts of the legs inwards, the backs of the thighs outwards. So especially with that back leg, but with the front leg as well. And then come forwards, hinging at the hips. And come into parivrtta. Corkscrew the legs, especially that back leg to bring the hips level, but with the front leg as well. We often forget to activate that front leg. If you can come down a little lower. If you can reach the floor, then reach the floor. So keep corkscrewing those legs, keep projecting the chin and the chest forwards. Corkscrew action in the legs. And then from here, we're going to go into parivrtta trikonasana. So you're going to bring your left hand over onto the outside, onto the little toe side of the right foot. Keep corkscrewing those legs. Bring the other hand, the right hand onto the hip, and then lengthen into the spine. And turn the abdomen to the right side. Keep corkscrewing those legs. Turn the abdomen to the right. Keep drawing the top shoulder towards the back of the room. And then if you can, reach up, or you can keep that top hand on the hip. Lengthening into the spine. Turning the abdomen. Turning the chest. Turning the shoulders. If you can look up. Okay, come back down to the center. And then bend that front leg. Step in with the back leg. And then come back up into Tadasana. Bring the blocks onto the other side. And then come into Tadasana. So that corkscrew action of the legs. Hopefully, it helps to bring a little additional stability. Just observe the breath, observe your breath, observe your energy. Bring the arms out nice and wide in towards the chest, and then step or jump the feet nice and wide. Bring the hands into the hips, and then turn the right toes in steeply, the left leg and foot all the way out. Pick up the heel of that back leg and turn it all the way out. So that just helps you to just get the turn on the leg. So if your hands on your hips, feel that the hips are level. And you achieve that by corkscrewing the legs, both legs. Corkscrewing the front leg gives you space in the hips. Corkscrewing the back legs brings the hips level. Come forwards, hinging at the hips, keeping the head lifted, and then reach down and find the block. Turn in the chest. Rotating the legs. That corkscrew action, not just of the back leg, but of the front leg as well. Keep coming down a little more, or stay on the blocks. So you can always do parivrtta trikonasana with the blocks, of course. Reach down to the floor if you can, but keep the chin and the chest extending forward. And bring your right hand over to the left, to the little toe side of the left foot. Bring your other hand onto the small of the back. Rotate the chest across that front leg, drawing the top shoulder towards the other side of the room, and then reach up. Keep those legs corkscrew action. Okay, come back to the center, come back into parsva, and then bend the front leg, step forwards with the back leg, and then come up into Tadasana. Just feel your energy. Listen to the breath. Listen to the inhalation and the exhalation. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Okay, we're going to do a headstand. So if you're not doing a headstand today, you can do supta baddangulyasana. So lay on your back with your feet close to the seat bones and the knees apart. So you can do supta baddangulyasana, this pose. So you can just come down onto the floor like that. If you're doing a headstand, then it's probably, if you can kick up and you're not certain of your balance, then do it by the wall. Otherwise, you can do just the preparation stage, and you can do that in the middle of the room, or you can do it by the wall if you want. I often find that the middle of the room is kind of better for the preparation stage, but do it in the middle. Do it by the wall if you feel like you might want to kick up. So just come down onto your knees, and then just place your elbows on the floor and have your elbows shoulder width apart. And then stretch the arms, stretch the hands away from the elbows. So before you even try and bring your head down, don't try and bring your head down yet. I want you to really focus on the foundation of the pose. So bring the elbows in line with your shoulders, lengthen the palms, spread the fingers, spread the palms, keep your head lifted, head lifted, head lifted, head lifted. I don't want you to drop your head at all at the moment. I want you to keep your head lifted. Interlock the fingers right into the webbing of the hands, and then get the thumbs to reach towards the knuckles. Keep the head lifted. Have a look at your wrists, and the inner wrist, the wrist pointing up towards the ceiling, is that directly above the lower wrist? Keep your head up. Keep your head up. Don't try and bring. Everyone's trying to bring the head down too soon. We're not even going to bring the head down at first. So keep the head up. Just draw the upper wrist above the lower wrist. And then the first stage, if you're doing this in the middle of the room, if you can do it by the wall and you know how to go up, you can go up. But in the middle of the room, we're not going to bring the head down, because I want you to work the upper arms and the lower arms. So push your arms into the floor. Keep your head away from the floor. And then do dog down with your legs. So you're pushing the little finger side of the hand into the floor. You're pushing the forearms into the floor, the elbows into the floor, and your head is free of the mat. So this first stage is just getting the outer arms, or the upper arms rather, or the lower arms, to really connect to the ground. So lengthen from the elbows into the armpits, from the elbows into the forearms, into the wrists, into the fingers, and then come down. So your head isn't even on the floor at this stage. But it's all about getting this forearm to really connect to the ground. So it's like the blade of the forearm really connecting to the ground. So this time we're going to come up into that dog down action again with your head away from the floor. But this time you're going to walk your feet in a little bit. Keep the legs straight like you're doing dog down, but have the head still free of the floor, and just feel how the forearms have to really push into the floor. The more you push into the floor, it's like you're doing dog down, isn't it? Push the forearms and the elbows and the wrists into the floor. Okay, and then come down and just sit back on your heels for a moment. Just relax for a moment. Just sit back on your heels. Maybe even go into Adho Mukha Virasana, just to stretch out your back. So the preparation stage is all about getting these outer arms, the outer forearms, to really connect with the mat. So the outer arm connecting from the mat, and then the elbow lengthening into the into the armpit. Okay, so we're gonna bring the head onto the floor this time. But I want you to, the reason why I did it without the head on the floor the first time is because I want you to really feel how you should work your arms. Because as soon as you put your head down, most people lose the arms altogether, and they just pile all of their weight onto their neck, and that's not good. That will make it feel really uncomfortable. So it's that real firm, secure foundation that we want. So elbows as wide as shoulders, no wider, because that's a collapse in action, and then just come back, interlock the fingers into the head of the hand, but keep the head lifted. Just to start off with the head lifted if you can, and if that's comfortable for you. And then you're going to bring your chin into your chest and then guide the back of the head into the cup of the hands, and then come up onto the toes. Come up onto the toes, push the elbows and the forearms really firmly into the floor, like you want to lift the head off the floor again, and then start walking in towards the head with the hands, but keep the outer elbows really deeply working. Ian, your elbows could be a bit closer together, they look a bit wide apart, so it needs to be just shoulder width apart. So as you start to walk in, the question is, does it become heavy on your head? And if it does, then you have to work your arms more. And if you can't remember how to do that, then go into the previous stage where you just did it without your head on the floor at all. So you got to work the arms, keep those elbows in line, and then if you can go up, you can go up. Or if you're not going up today, that's fine. So Ruth, just bring the big toes together and the heels apart. Also, I've made you come down. So you can just rest in between each attempt. So Ian, your elbows want to slip apart there, so just be really, you can always put a belt around your upper arms to stop the elbows from separating, although that it kind of gets rid of the space for the head. So when you're up, bring the big toes together and then corkscrew the legs in Tadasana. So you're corkscrewing the legs from the outside in for the front and then around the back, so you're broadening outwards, and then you just do that corkscrew action all the way up into the toes. So you keep the toes together, the big toes together, but you might not necessarily have the heels together. So Ian, if you're going to kick up, do it by a wall, just to make sure that you're level. Because when you kick up, you should always go up with straight legs. Just be careful. Just be really mindful of your neck. Okay. If you're just doing the preparation stage, then just come down. If you're in headstand, you can stay for a moment longer. If you're just doing the preparation stage, come into supta baddangulyasana. So just lay on your back and feet together, knees apart. Or just do a good advisable, just with the fingertips lifted. So the fingertips on the floor, the palms of the hands lifted. So just stretching out the neck, breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Okay, if you're still in headstand, then if you can come down with straight legs and do just one leg at a time or both legs, just gently reach down to the floor and then just stretch into Adho Mukha Virasana. And then once you have recovered, just come down onto your back and into supta baddangulyasana. So with headstand, it's all about the preparation. It's all about the ability to activate the arms, the forearms. And so when we do it with the head lifted from the floor, it really hopefully it leaves an imprint of what your arms should be doing once your head is in place. But it's the natural temptation when your head is in the right, when your head is down on the floor, is to just let everything pile into the neck. And that doesn't feel good. And that can be damaging. So it's good to just focus on the preparation stage. You still get benefits of an inversion. So maybe feel how the shoulders feel open. The upper arms feel light. The elbows feel long. The forearms feel long. The hands feel energized. So have your hands on your lower ribs and just create a cycle of energy from the hands into the ribs, into the armpits, into the elbows, into the wrists, into the palms. And then draw your knees together. Have your knees together, your feet apart for a moment. And then draw your knees in towards your chest. Just have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom. And then roll over onto your right side. And then straighten the top leg, come back up into the seated position, just come into cross legs. Hold onto your knees and lift up into the chest. So hold onto the knees, lift up into the chest. Draw your shoulders down away from your ears. Draw the chin forwards and down to make contact with the chest. So Jalandhara Bandha. Lift the anal sphincter up towards the diaphragm region from Mula Bandha. And then focus on filling the lungs from the bottom to the top. And allowing the energy of the breath to overflow from the top of the lungs and into the shoulders and the arms, into the chest, into the legs. And then a normal out breath from the top of the lungs to the bottom. And then release Mula Bandha, release Jalandhara Bandha, and then bring the head back. Just looking forwards, just observe the energy of the breath that you have released into the body. Elevate the heart area upwards, lifting up into the chest, and then come around to the right side, drawing your abdomen from the right side, from the left to the right. Drawing your abdomen and your ribs and your shoulders across, keeping your neck soft in just a forward position. And then come back to the center, hold onto your knees, lift up into your chest. Take a deep inhalation and then turn to the left. And then gently come back to the center, hold onto your knees, lift up into the chest, draw your shoulders down away from your ear. Okay, we're just going to finish in the restorative surfboard pose. So get a bolster and a block for your head and have the blanket over the block. And then if you've got a little rolled up blanket or a little mini bolster, you can have that for underneath your shins. So you come onto the bolster, excuse me, you're laying across the front of the bolster and your head needs to be free of the end of the bolster. So where the end of the bolster kind of sits in relation to your pelvis, that is going to be different for everyone, but have your head free of the end of the bolster. And then rest your head down onto the block and just let your arms, just bend the elbows, just let your arms rest down onto the floor. So just find your position, just adjust it until you feel comfortable, and then spend a few moments just listening to the breath. And then we can begin to do a little back breathing sequence. So the first inhalation, you inhale into the shoulder, the shoulder blade region, out into the armpits. And then a normal exhalation. The second breath is into the middle of the back and out into the side ribs. So breathing consciously into the back and then releasing with a normal exhalation. And then the third breath is breathing down into the very base of the spine, around the sacrum area and out into the hips. So just rotate around those 3 back breathing positions. So back breathing is a really effective way of bringing energy into the body, because often we neglect the back of the lungs, and of course the back of the lungs doesn't extend down into the hips, but just bringing your consciousness into the back helps you to feel the full expanse of the lungs. And we often neglect to breathe into the backs of the lungs consciously. There's a real calming sensation that comes from doing that. Just let the body relax into the floor, let the shoulders and the neck relax. Okay, when you're ready, just bring your hands underneath your shoulders, push yourself up into a seated position. Just sit back on your heels for a moment, just observe the energy of the front of the body and at the back of the body. And then sit yourself directly on your bolster and just come into cross legs. Your hands on your knees, lift up into the chest, elevating the heart area upwards. Bring your hands into Namaste. Draw your breath in through your nose down into the abdomen. Be conscious of the energy that you have released through your practice this morning, that good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy that the extensions and the forward bends and the twists and the inversions and the reclining poses bring to the body and to the mind. And then draw your chin down to meet your chest, feeling the length of the back of the neck, drawing the shoulders away from your ears. Just spend a moment to seek to acknowledge the positive energy you've created inside. And then send some of that positive energy out into the world. And then very gently release the backs of your hands down toward your knees, palms facing upwards. And then as you raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. So hopefully you feel as though you've lifted your energy and you've given yourself good positive energy to put into your day. So thank you very much for joining me.